football, we're all frenzied over free agency. It's time for garbage time. Woo! Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. I am your host, Ron, the Fantasy Spectre Seymour, joined today and apparently every day by Joseph McCann. How you doing, Joe?
I'm on full tilt and on full Rodgers watch, Ron.
Yo.
What is up, EJ? Oh, God. EJ says from the Heckling Fandom, bro, I made a Rodgers brown paper bag with the same face on it. Dude, you know, I'm glad you like my thumbnail.
Yeah, Rodgers watch is in full effect and totally taking over everything, and it's annoying. And we're not going to stick on it that long because, well, screw that.
Is something called free agency going on today?
Yeah, we want free agency stuff. And
oh, God,
like last episode, this episode is just going to be one big news update. So let's get to the news.
News updates.
Before Ron goes on his little tirade there, let's talk about where you can actually see this show. So you guys can watch this show here on YouTube. You can watch it on Twitter. We are on Twitch. You can listen to us in audio formats on Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, Amazon, Iheartradio, Tunein, anywhere else you get podcasts. And you can also leave us voicemails at www.garbagetimeff.com and reach us on Instagram at Garbage Time Fantasy Football and garbage_time_FF on Twitter.
All right, so here's how this is going to work tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go through every single free agency signing, and we will breeze over the ones that are, and that'll be quite a few of them. We had a lot of defensive signings today, but I want to get them out there. Don't need to talk about them too much for fantasy, but we'll just say if we think it, we'll say if we think it has a positive impact on their fantasy defense for next year. Just a quick thing. We won't dive too much into it. We'll save most of our time for the few offensive pieces that did get signed. So first, we will talk about the massive trade that happened on Friday. The Bears traded the 101 to the Panthers for this year's first, this year's second, a first next year, and a 2025 second. Oh, and DJ Moore. So the Bears get a wide receiver finally to help out Justin Fields. What do we think DJ Moore's fantasy value is going to be in this Bears offense?
I'm going to put him in as a high-end wide receiver too currently. DJ Moore has shown that in multiple different offenses, including versions of now with Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and Cam Newton, that he can produce. So in heavy run-style offenses with Christian McCaffrey there, and even when Christian McCaffrey wasn't there, he still produced. So I think DJ Moore's talented enough on his own to produce in any offense, and I think the Bears are going to look to utilize him and want to make Justin Fields his number one weapon there early. You don't spend this much capital moving up to get the number one pick unless the Bears actually think he's very valuable. So I really like the move on the Bears end, and I see him as a high-end wide receiver too for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I think his fantasy floor is going to be a mid-range wide receiver too, but his ceiling is right up there, at least top 10. You know,
does he finish there though?
I would like to see more offensive line moves from the Bears. They have made some, which we will get into. Yeah, we'll get into here a little bit later, but I think he has a solid chance. I'd put it probably about an 85% chance that he finishes at least as a low-end wide receiver one at the end of the season.
What does he do to the value of like Claypool on the other side? And obviously Mooney.
I think Claypool is about dead. I still think they're going to be a run first offense. So I don't know if the passing volume will be there to support enough for 3 wide receivers. It's barely going to be enough for 2. I think what you see is Darnell Mooney will have his big games, but I don't think Darnell Mooney will be as consistent. I think DJ Moore will be the more consistent, maybe less boom games, but Darnell Mooney would be the big play. Oh, there's an 80-yard touchdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about at the tight end position there for the Bears? Do you think the volume just overall at that position kind of goes down, stays the same? Does it ascend because there's going to be less attention on it? What are we going to see out of that position for the Bears?
Again, I don't think Justin Fields is going to throw the ball enough to support enough of the weapons. And like you said, they brought in DJ Moore. I think they got plenty for the 101. It's not like they gave up in regards to what they got, they didn't give up a lot for DJ Moore.
All right, if you had to guess, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's on the Panthers, so I'll let you finish your thought and then we'll move on to that.
No, it's gone.
The thought is over, so let's move on to the Panthers.
It's over.
Okay, so what I wanted to get ahead here too is with the number 1 pick now and the Panthers in position, do you have a feeling that, one, they're going to follow the rumor that they may trade back a little bit, that they like 2 or 3 of these guys and they just wanted to control their own destiny in this fate and maybe pick up a piece back? Or do you think that they took this spot with the intention of taking either CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, or Anthony Richardson? And which one do you think they'll ultimately take if that's the case?
I definitely could see them trading back if they end up falling in love with a few of them, but I don't think they will because they're not going to want to, unless like the Colts trade up with them and they only have to go back to 4, that still puts them in line for at least one of these QBs. But I don't think the Colts are going to do that because right now they're in line for one of these QBs. Mm-hmm. So you'd have to look at a team outside the top 4, and then the Panthers aren't going to want to trade that far back and lose a chance at one of these QBs.
And we're already starting to see those smoke screens too. Like there was a report outside of today that they said they liked Anthony Richardson, his head coach.
Yeah.
And then that they liked CJ Stroud and they really liked his performance on how he was utilizing his fundamentals on the field during the combine, and he could just really read routes and he threw so accurate. So we're already starting to see split opinions on what they're going to do with that first pick.
Yeah, I really don't know. Probably in a month and a half or so, we'll be doing our sabotage mock draft, and I don't know who I'm going to slot in at 101.
My early favorites on CJ Stroud, though, I think they're really looking at him right now.
That's where I'm leaning to. After the combine, a lot of people he rose up a lot of people's draft boards. Some people have him ahead of everybody as their QB1 in the class, even Bryce Young. But the thing is, Bryce Young didn't test at the combine, so we'll see what happens.
There's still some there's still some pro days here, so
yeah, it's hard. We'll have to see.
JJ's real happy with this move, though.
Oh yeah, he was super stoked to get DJ Moore along with all those picks.
Yet on U Stadium, they were talking shit about them getting the later second-round pick as opposed to the top 30 pick. It's like, you got to listen. DJ Moore's worth the second and third round pick on his own. So, calm down. It's a great trade.
Get out of it. They got 2 firsts and 2 seconds plus a very good wide receiver. They got a lot.
They buried the Panthers on value, but that's the cost of the first round pick. I'm sure the Panthers will come away with something, and then they got to figure out, hey, how do we find people to throw that he can actually throw the ball to? Yeah, there's not a lot of them right now.
All right, let's move on from that for now. We'll go to another piece of news with Austin Eckler requesting permission to seek a trade. What is this about? That's weird. I think that's weird.
And it kind of comes out the first day of free agency too. I think that he was looking for an extension. He's getting to the ancient age of 27, 28 years old. Real old. But in the world of running backs, it's old. So he's trying to get his last payday here, trying to apply a little bit of pressure to the Chargers, who really need to keep that offense together. You know, it's a pressure move. He wants money. So I think he's trying to put that out there to potentially get money. I don't think you could get a lot for Austin Eckler, though. He's just an auxiliary piece at this point, but I think there's some teams that would potentially take him, some contenders.
You said he's just an auxiliary piece when the past 2 years he's had like 20 touchdowns.
No, in the typical prototypical offense. In fantasy, it's great, but in an offense in the real world of the NFL, he is an auxiliary piece. He's a luxury.
I don't think I'd call him an auxiliary piece, but that splitting hairs, I suppose. All right. Do we think a team actually trades for him, or is he going to wait till after this draft? That's, not a lot of elite talent in it, but there's a lot of talent at running back in this draft.
I don't think anyone wants to spend the capital on one, especially with his contract. I mean, he's got a halfway decent contract, but he wants more money anyway. So who's going to pay an older running back more money?
Right. You don't think
anyone would? The Chargers.
You don't think anyone would trade for him? Maybe with like a 5th or 6th round pick.
Potentially, I like his value, but it'd really have to be to a contender. I don't know. Baltimore's kind of interesting if they brought back Lamar.
Listen, Baltimore can't draft or bring in any running back because that'll destroy my dynasty team.
Now they're going to.
Yeah, I know. I've been so upset about it. Anyway, we'll move on. Let's go and talk about Odell Beckham a little bit. He held a workout. 13 teams are in attendance. I think he said he was asking for $20 million.
Yeah, real cheap
or something like that. Real cheap.
Hasn't played in 2 years though.
No big numbers. It's been 1 year.
Yeah, wrong side of 30, and he's asking for $20 million a year. That's definitely a trustworthy number.
Yeah. Do we think anyone gives him it? Maybe a desperate team after the draft?
No, absolutely not. He's going to sign before the draft, I think. There's rumors that the Jets are going to potentially look at him if Rodgers comes. I don't think we got the cap space to do that. I'm not going along that route.
I'm not sure why the Jets are looking at any wide receiver.
They did just cut one. They're afraid they're going to have to cut Corey Davis too. But I showed you reports where they're looking at older guys that Rodgers wants to play with. They want to make this old bastard happy. Oh, we're now his bitch. Anyway, Odell Beckham, I think it could go to a few interesting spots. Odell's ass. I agree. He is an ass. Not Odell is ass. He's not ass, but he is an ass. But yeah, he's on the wrong side of 30. He's not worth that money. But there's some teams out there that'll definitely attempt to sign him. Maybe Dallas could look at him. The Cardinals are kind of like in la-la land, thinking they're still decent. They can potentially make a move for him. Giants, you think?
I don't know.
Come home?
I don't know, maybe. But we don't have a lot of cap space anymore either.
Where else do you think teams are going to be looking at him? Cowboys.
Do
you have the list of teams that showed up to his workout?
I don't have a list. All I know is the Giants were in attendance. I don't know the other ones.
Discuss that for a second. I'll get us the list.
The Falcons could be a good team for him. Add him with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I don't think the Cardinals would do it, especially with Murray probably going to be missing at least 4 weeks, maybe 6.
They were at his workout.
I mean, maybe. I feel like a lot of those teams that were at his workout were just trying to gauge his health. And if they happen to be making a playoff push, hope, if he doesn't sign for that amount of time, to just see what his health is to bring him in.
What about Atlanta? They have a little bit of money to spend still.
I literally just said Atlanta.
Oh, well, yeah, that's one.
You weren't even listening to me.
No, I was looking for our list. Sorry.
Maybe Seattle.
Nah, no way. They got enough wide receivers.
There's a couple teams, but the Browns could be a team.
No, there's no way he comes back. No.
Oh, that's right. He was already on the Browns. I always forget about that. I don't know. It's a different regime, different quarterback.
The owner will not want him to be coming back. He burnt that bridge.
I think they already proved that it was Baker's fault, but
can he still be fantasy relevant on the team though?
Oh yeah, he's still fine. I think he is. That's the wrong thing. All right, let's get going in this. Like I said, we're going to blow through everything.
So much.
Yeah, so the Bills extended linebacker Matt Milano's contract. They did this in part to create some cap space. Cleared $6 million by doing that. The Bills
can bring in Odell.
It's possible.
There'd be no fantasy value with how many wide receivers they have then.
Dolphins are trading for cornerback Jalen Ramsey. They sent a tight end Hunter Long and a 3rd round pick to the Rams, which I thought was a steal.
It's a great move.
The Giants are re-signing Sterling Shepard to a deal. I mean, I don't know. I think this is just depth and just being nice to their guy. I believe it was a 1 year. Tore his Achilles 2 years ago and then tore his ACL last year.
It's almost as exciting as Houston signing Robert Woods to a 2-year, $15 million contract.
Right. Yeah. So I think the Giants bring in at least one more wide receiver, most likely 2 wide receivers. So I think Shepard's just going to be a depth piece.
DeAndre Hopkins, maybe?
I hope so. That's my wish list was D-Hop and a linebacker. We got our linebacker. We'll get to that. The Commanders signed their defensive tackle Deron Payne to a 4-year, $90 million deal, which I believe is the highest ever for a defensive tackle.
They gave him $90 million deal?
No, 4-year, $90 million. I thought I said deal. Well, it's 10 o'clock at night. The Jets and linebacker Williams agree to a deal. Quincy Williams, 3-year, $18 million.
Yes, they had a good DST for fantasy last year. That's a good move.
Yeah.
Give me some offense.
The Niners are re-signing their safety to Sean Gibson, which is great for them. Nothing. I mean, he was already on the team, so it won't be anything.
Offense.
Giants re-signed their punter. No big deal. Ravens running back Gus Edward reworked a contract in Baltimore. Reduces his pay about $1 million.
Nothing but a cuff.
Yeah. Here's one. Deshaun Watson restructured his contract, clearing $36 million in cap space, which is huge.
This one is kind of interesting because clearing that much space means the Browns plan on using that money. And I think
they were $14 million over, so this puts them. What's that? Quick math. I can't. It's too late. 14, 28. My head hurts.
You can't math. Seen too many numbers, too many contracts.
Not at 10 o'clock at night. I can't math like this. Damn.
Too many contracts.
It's 22, by the way. They're at 22. Yeah.
They can get him another weapon, though.
Yeah, that's true. Lions re-sign defensive line Isaiah Buggs. That means nothing.
Well, if they resold him, he wouldn't be on the team anymore.
That's right. Jets are still waiting on Aaron Rodgers. We talked about that. Bengals re-signed their safety Michael Thomas. This was a big one. The New England Patriots traded Jonnu Smith to the Atlanta Falcons for a 7th round pick.
This is interesting.
Do we think this hurts Kyle Pitts?
No, absolutely not. Because he didn't do anything there with Hunter Henry there to begin with. So, no, I don't think Jonnu Smith getting traded to the Atlanta Falcons, even though his head coach is his former head coach to begin with. That's a double entendre right there. But, no, I really don't think it will hurt him.
My biggest worry about this is just the fact, is Kyle Pitts not healthy still?
It's possible.
You know what I mean? That's what worries me most about this signing.
Does this add a red alert to all dynasty teams with him then?
It's not great looking, it's not what you want to see. The Saints reworked their defensive end Cameron Jordan's deal to save up some cap space. The Falcons re-signed their guard, which was huge, keeping their offensive line good with a good player. Well,
they're a running team anyway, and I think that's going to continue this year.
Yeah. Bills restructured Naheem Hines' contract. Again, saving cap space.
Fodder.
Bucks have come out and said they're interested in free agent quarterbacks Baker Mayfield and Jacoby Brissett.
Oh boy, is that exciting for that.
Do either one of those guys intrigue you in like dynasty or not?
No, I think Baker helps the wide receivers there. But no, Baker doesn't interest me at all. He's a very, very low end QB2, I think at a maximum there with the Bucks. I mean, they run a pretty good offense and the pieces are still pretty much there. So he'd just be plug and play, but he's never been optimal for fantasy football anyway. But I mean, you play with Godwin and Evans in that offense if they keep both of them.
Yeah.
Plug in another running back there to help with what they've got already. It could work, but low end QB2 is what I would see Baker Mayfield in that offense, and he's nothing but a Band-Aid.
Yeah. All right, the New England Patriots and their cornerback Jonathan Jones agreed to a 2-year deal, keeping him on the team, which is good for their defense. Here goes the Bears. Linebacker TJ Edwards, they signed. They also signed offensive tackle Mike McGlinchey.
That was a fantastic move.
Both of those, I think, were fantastic moves.
But the biggest thing they needed to do this offseason is solidify that line. Getting someone as experienced as McGlinchey, who is a smart offensive lineman, is a damn good start, especially for what they want to do in that offense with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
They're starting to add wide receivers. He's still going to be heavily run heavy. But what they're going to try to do is what many teams do with athletic quarterbacks, which is try to guide him towards passing at least a little bit more to keep his career tangible and running
well.
long.
Not only that, but he got hit so many times, even when he wasn't rushing last year. Like, just horrible.
Bears did not sign McGlinchey. He signed with the Broncos. There was another offensive lineman then. Damn it, Ron. JJ, right?
Bears, Broncos starting. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I misread that. My bad.
Damn it. It's funny because we saw that earlier. He was really close to signing, and here we are giving false information.
By me. This is why.
Anyway, let's reset and rewind there then. Thanks for the correction, JJ. We'll
get into it.
What is it going to look like on Denver's offense, on that offensive line?
Well, same thing. Protect Russell Wilson so he doesn't get dead.
Well, Nate Davis, guard of the Titans, is a decent auxiliary piece. I know they signed someone on that offensive line. He's pretty good.
We'll get to it, apparently. Ravens released defensive end Calais Campbell. He's kind of older, but could still help a team as maybe like a swing player. Broncos also signed guard Ben Powers, so they're really bolstering up their offensive line.
How do you feel about their backfield then? I mean, it's kind of been going under the haywire.
Under the haywire. I think they have to bring in a running back of some sort because Javonte Williams probably will not be ready to start the season. So they need to bring someone in. But once Javonte's back, I don't think they bring in anyone that's going to completely take over that job.
So you think it's going to be a two-man backfield?
I think it's going to be mostly a one-man backfield once Javonte's at full health.
Is it going to be valuable for fantasy, though, with Sean Payton running the show now?
Yes, because he likes to run a lot, and he's had plenty of teams where he's had 2 fantasy-relevant running backs.
Okay.
Also, the Broncos have been in the news as possibly trading a wide receiver, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, or KJ Hamler.
They've also spent over $200 million already.
Yeah, they're spending. Eagles center Jason Kelsey announced he will return to the team for a 13th season. Falcons agree to sign defensive tackle David Onyemata to a 3-year deal.
More defense. It's been a very defensive day.
It's been a very defensive day. The Indianapolis Colts announced that they have just signed defensive end Tyquan Lewis to an extension. So just keeping people there. Same with the Commanders. Their cornerback Danny Johnson agreed to a 2-year deal to stay. This was a big one. Jason Hargrave, the defensive tackle formerly of the Eagles, signed a 4-year, $84 million deal that includes $40 million guaranteed at signing.
They've been getting their defense decimated today. Like, their players aren't re-signing with them on that side of the ball. There's still a few more that need to re-sign, but that's what happens when you go to a Super Bowl. Players want to get paid, and you can't pay for them all.
That's true, yeah. Nick Gates, former offensive line of the Giants, signed with the Commanders.
Nominal move.
He destroyed his leg 2 years ago and then was able to come back, so that's cool. Panthers signed defensive tackle Shy Tuttle to a 3-year deal. More defense.
Tuttle.
Here's a good one. Raiders agree to terms with quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo.
All right. Where do we begin with this one? So you want to get rid of Derek Carr, who is an Iron Man on the field. 15, 16, 17 games a year, right? And then you go to Jimmy G. An old Patriot.
Wise is probably worse than Derek Carr.
Yep, probably. And can't stay on the field. You're going to get a maximum of 10 games out of him a year.
Yeah.
You re-sign your backup, who was serviceable towards the end of last year. All for the simple reason that you bring in a Belichick wannabe.
Yep.
Who wants his guy, which is Jimmy Garoppolo. Only problem, he doesn't stay on the field, and he's never healthy. Good luck, Raiders.
I think the Raiders thought, because they picked fairly early in the draft, I think they thought that one of those QBs was going to fall to them. That's why they were okay with letting Derek Carr go. But then as the offseason was going along and all of these quarterbacks have just been climbing up draft boards, they realized, oh, crap, we're probably not going to get one of these guys.
I think the kid out of Kentucky could follow them, and he kind of feels like he'd be a Raider. Super athletic but raw.
Which kid? Levis?
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, these quarterbacks going 1 through 4.
I don't think Levis will.
I think he will. Because I think the other 3 are going to go 1, 2, 3, and then the Colts will be forced to take him at 4.
No, Levis will be the one to fall.
What do we think Garoppolo does does to, would probably be more the apt way to say it, Devontae Adams?
I think Devontae Adams was going to produce no matter who was the quarterback for him. We saw he was very good with Derek Carr. They peppered him last year. He's their best weapon on offense. He will get peppered this year with Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to look to run the ball heavily with Josh Jacobs coming back, which surprised me that they brought him back on the franchise tag. But it's going to be a lot of Josh Jacobs and Devontae. So Devontae's not going to drop off at all, I don't think, unless, of course, he gets traded. But I don't foresee that happening.
It worries me because I know Jimmy Garoppolo really likes to target the tight end.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel like Darren Waller, if he stays healthy, could really kill some of Devontae's production.
Got another comment here from EJ from Breathing Fantasy Football. Literally, yo, Joe, have you seen the tape on Bryce Ford Wheaton? He's a wide receiver and built like DK Metcalf. Huge guy and is super fast. Excited to see where he gets drafted. So, no, my dynasty team currently is a little bit running back heavy. So I've been focusing on them this week. And there's a couple of deep sleepers that I'll be talking about in some future shows that are exciting me. I've actually got a whole list on my phone I was looking at 20 minutes ago. So, no, I have not seen him, but thank you for that suggestion. I'm sure both of us are going to look into it now.
I've heard about
EJ, EJ, give us a little bit of a rundown or description on what he is, though. We'd love to bring it up on the show. Right now.
All right. The Miami Dolphins signed Mike White, 2-year deal worth up to $16 million. He will be the backup to Tua Tagovailoa.
Not for long.
We'll see. Well, if Tua stays healthy, I think Tua will keep the job.
He won't.
I mean, he very likely could be out of the league by week 5 because if he gets another concussion, I don't see how he continues to play football.
And I think that Mike White is talented enough and has pinpoint enough accuracy to where he's got 2 wide receivers who are good at yak, where he can place the ball in good spots on the field, and that offense could, I think, take off under him. I think he's the perfect quarterback to potentially bring Miami to the playoffs. Like, I think he finishes the year as the starter for the Miami Dolphins. And I'm getting flashbacks of when Chad Pennington was their quarterback.
I'm thinking, Mike McDaniel there is pretty good at giving his quarterbacks what they need to succeed, doing a good game plan, much like was done for Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco all those years. So, all right, Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback Cameron Sutton is signing with the Detroit Lions, so they help bolster up their defense a little bit.
Hold that thought, Ron. JJ goes, Joe's back on this Tua hating bullshit. They picked up Tua's fifth-year option. He's the man. He's just wanting to get me to spiral here. I never said Tua was bad in any of those comments. I just said he's not going to be able to stay on the field. He's not going to take his job. Tua's simply just going to get another concussion, and they're going to play well with Mike White.
JJ's in those comments trying to stir the pot.
Such a damn troll. Go back to seeing all those Bears signings. Don't you have something to revel in today? Just giving out checks.
Case Keenum plans to sign with the Houston Texans. Probably be the backup to whatever QB they draft. They're also signing linebacker Chase Winovich and running back Mike Boone. Neither one of those.
JJ says Tua does judo. Good thing that doesn't help his brain.
So this move confused me a little bit. The Chiefs did not re-sign their left tackle and then turned around and signed Jawaan Taylor to a 4-year, $80 million deal. So
this screams as a big payday coming to their left tackle here shortly.
Yeah, Orlando Brown.
Is about to get some money.
Yeah. It's just weird to me, I guess.
So what was the contract at Jawaan Taylor?
Jawaan Taylor, 4-year, $80 million with $60 million guaranteed.
So $20 million a year.
I guess it's mostly because Taylor's 25 years old and Orlando Brown is closer to 30, I believe.
Yeah, but lineman can play close to 40 and still be productive. It's a different kind of position.
Yeah.
It kind of screams a team like the Bears probably are throwing a lot of money at him. He's going to have a monster deal here in the next day or two.
All right, the Bills are bringing in guard McGovern to help the O-line. Giants re-signed their offensive lineman Wyatt Davis. Tight end Josh Oliver is expected to sign with Minnesota Vikings. I think this is kind of a depth piece for them. They've got TJ Hockenson there, so I think that's going to be, their main guy.
I'd say.
Panthers signed safety Von Bell, who was with the Cincinnati Bengals for the past
Very underrated move and an excellent move for them.
Yeah, they're really trying to bolster up that defense since they're not going to be able to in the draft because they don't have any picks. The Texans are going to sign defensive tackle Hassan Ridgeway from the Niners. It's a 1-year, $4 million deal. Also trying to bolster up that defense. Washington Commanders have agreed to a deal with Chiefs offensive lineman Andrew Wiley for 3 years, $24 million. So bolstering. A lot of people are bolstering up their offensive lines today. The Cleveland Browns re-signed their center, Ethan Pocket. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Helps a running game. You got two great running backs. It just helps. Run it back.
Yeah. The Bears signed another linebacker, Tremaine Edmonds, 4 years, $72 million. So now they got two brand new linebackers on their team.
I don't know if we had the money for him. I kind of wanted him. That would have been nice to steal him from a divisional opponent. And he
was one of the linebackers I wanted, but
he's an animal. Yeah. And now very expensive.
The Bills have signed Cam Lewis to a 1-year deal. Cornerback. 49ers re-signed defensive tackle Kevin Givens. 1-year deal worth up to $2.1 million. Just depth pieces.
Going down.
Broncos expected to sign backup Jarrett Stidham, who spent last year with the Raiders, to back up Russell Wilson.
Man up starting.
Oh, there's the Bears offensive lineman. They got guard Nate Davis for a 3-year deal.
That's the one JJ corrected us on.
Yep.
This is what you need to do, though. They needed an offensive lineman, and this is just a start. They may be shoveling $25 million towards a certain Chiefs starter.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Don't be surprised if 4 years, $100 million.
The Bengals are re-signing their linebacker Jermaine Pratt, 3-year deal. This was a big one. Jesse Bates signed with the Falcons again, bolstering up that defense.
JJ called that one.
4 years, $65 million, include $23 million in the first year and $36 million over the first two.
Let me say, much more productive than Jamaal Adams.
Patrick Peterson is signed with Pittsburgh Steelers. Not the guy he used to be, but still a very solid corner.
Didn't they sign a Cleveland corner that was kind of a veteran a few years ago, too, and do the same thing?
I don't think he was as old as Patrick Peterson. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of
No, he wasn't.
Cowboys and Seahawks are both interested in linebacker Bobby Wagner, so we'll see. Those are the two teams that have been most linked to him.
Oh, my God.
So we'll see what happens there.
Him with Parsons in the middle. Talk about a really dangerous DST.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
And JJ said it was Joe Hayden. So, yeah.
Joe Hayden. Yep, that's the one. Thank you,
man,
JJ.
just Bobby
Even when
Wagner
he's
next
not
to
here,
Micah
he
Parsons.
I don't want to talk about it. The Giants are signing.
You want to see it.
No, I don't. The Giants are signing defensive lineman Raheem Nunez-Roches. That's a long-ass name.
You're just sliding over the fact that I'm talking about Micah Parsons next.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I told you.
It's going to happen now.
Bucks are re-signing their cornerback Jamel Dean. 4-year deal, $52 million.
Top 5 DST.
The Commanders claimed quarterback Cam Dantzler off of waivers. Don't know who that is. 2020 third-round pick by the Vikings. The 49ers brought in quarterback Sam Darnold to save their team.
Bullshit.
Hey, if anybody can make Sam Darnold look good, it's fucking Kyle Shanahan.
No, I think it's actually a good fit, but Trey Lance is going to save their team. I think this is more a detriment on the rookie that helped save them, Mr. Irrelevant last year, Brock Purdy. Yeah. And his surgery is going to take a little bit longer than expected. I think Trey Lance will start and then have a shorter leash. And God forbid if he's not good, their savior, Sam Darnold, will come in.
Cowboys restructure Michael Gallup's contract, saved them $7 million in cap room, which
kind of gives you a hint that he's staying.
Yeah, he's staying, and they're going to try to bring in someone else.
What do you see as his value for next year in fantasy?
If they bring in another decent to good wide receiver, low.
Odell.
I mean, I don't trust him. Plus, the Cowboys have come out and said they want to run the ball, so a lot. The Lions are re-signing their linebacker Alex Anzalone, 3-year deal.
Where do you think Jamaal Williams ends up?
With the Lions.
You think he resigns?
Oh, yeah. I don't think he goes anywhere.
Okay.
Linebacker Cody Barton, a 1-year deal with the Commanders. So much depth piece. 3-year Browns, 3-year deal with defensive end. Ogbonia, whatever, this big ass name. Titans to sign left tackle Andre Dillard.
That's kind of interesting considering how much they've been tearing down the offensive line. I mean, you got to protect something, I guess, but Dillard just doesn't feel like it.
They got to make room for Derrick Henry to run through the line.
Not when they trade him.
The Las Vegas Raiders have agreed to a deal with Eagles safety Marcus Epps.
The piece fades off.
Yep. Giants are bringing back Matt Breida on a 1-year deal. Depth piece. Played well for us. Broncos have agreed to terms with tight end Chris Manhertz on a 2-year, $6 million.
He's a man.
Yeah. He's a man that hurts.
Here's a comment from EJ, too, about Bryce Ford Wheaton, someone he wants us to elaborate on. He says, here is the scouting report on him. BFW had the highest vert at 41 inches. He's 6'4", 227 pounds, and ran a 4.38 40-yard dash. He's from West Virginia. Not much tape on YouTube with him, but he destroyed the combine at the wide receiver position. Thoughts?
Yeah, from what I heard today is I was actually listening to a podcast today. It was talking about him. Crushed it at the combine, got a really good RAS score for the combine, but a little inconsistent on tape with catches. Can't really get away from pressure, and he catches it with his body, not so much his hands.
So workout warrior?
Kind of. I don't think it's so much workout warrior. I think he's just I think he'll be a good late round draft pick that has upside if someone can groom him into something, because I mean that size, height, and speed, you can definitely be something, but he needs to work on, from what I hear, he needs to work on being a wide receiver, I guess.
That's broad.
I mean, I don't know of another way to put it. Like he needs to refine his route running, stuff of that nature. He's an athletic freak, but sometimes that's not everything you need.
EJ, I'll give you two names I was researching this week: Evan Hall and Izzy Nkamba. Keep those in mind. Those
names sound made up. The Giants, their biggest move of the day, one I'm really excited about. They got linebacker Bobby Okereke, 4-year, $40 million from the Colts. We've been needing a really good linebacker. He's not exactly the linebacker I wanted, but he is a very good linebacker. So hopefully he really helps our defense. Trying to skip some of the ones that I don't even recognize the name.
Keep scrolling.
The Chargers signing linebacker Eric Kendricks.
That's a good signing.
That's a good signing. Saints agree to terms with QB Winston, so they're bringing Jameis Winston back.
It's a very comfortable spot. It's tax-free. He doesn't mind backing up players. He's in a cushy spot now. They like him. Derek Carr can, take over with that job, and if he goes down, Winston will be fine there.
And that's everyone I got on my list. Did I miss anybody?
God, I don't really think so. I mentioned Robert Woods. What's your thoughts on him there with Houston?
Oh, Robert Woods. Yeah, they did that the other day. That wasn't on the list. Depends on the quarterback, man. Like, he didn't show much last year, but he was just coming off another injury, and that whole team was kind of a dumpster fire last year. So I don't really know. Good luck, EJ.
Ron, I love those thoughts. I need those takes from you on every player in the draft. Just kidding. Woods is toast.
Don't worry. We'll
Bert
when
toast.
when we get into our really mock drafts our rookie mock drafts after the draft, I'll know more about these players. I've been listening to different podcasts, trying to learn a bunch about these players from minds that are slightly smarter than mine, only slightly though.
I believe the two McGovern signed too. That was some other names, some more offensive linemen, both McGoverns.
I thought I mentioned McGoverns. I know I said one McGovern.
So many linemen today, just not really fantasy.
It was a really defensive and lineman heavy day. So I'm really hoping the next couple of days we start getting, the wide receiver free agents class isn't the greatest right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the running back has some really good names, but with how deep the draft is, I'm not sure if a lot of people are really looking to pay one of these running backs.
I want a D-Hop trade. That's what I want.
I want a D-Hop trade too, preferably to the Giants. Here's how I want the D-Hop thing to go. Either one, he comes to the Giants, or two, he definitely doesn't go to the Pats. That
kind of feels like it's going to happen.
I kind of can't let Ryan have that happiness in his life, especially when he keeps missing podcasts.
Well, he doesn't even really care about free agency. Like, his team never does anything in free agency.
And I still get called the Fantasy Spectre.
The ghost maybe swinging a new torch.
No, I like it. See how nice it looks with my name there, though?
Yeah. The anointed Fantasy Spectre. Any overnight thing's going to happen? Rodgers going to sign overnight or anything? Am I going to be able to sleep fine tonight, or just
No, you're not.
instant
Your
anxiety?
heart's going to be racing the whole time. As soon as you wake up, you're going to be scrolling on your phone trying to find any new news just to be heartbroken yet another day.
Just another chance to get written up at work because I keep refreshing my Twitter page instead of working.
Did you really get written up? Tell me you really got written up.
No, of course not. I'm sneakier than that.
Damn. Oh, wait, I got a Twitter notification.
What do you got?
Colts are bringing back linebacker EJ Speed. 1-year deal, $9 million.
Hey, look, another defensive play.
You know what it was?
What?
It was not Aaron Rodgers.
Let's talk about Adam Thielen for a second. He's another player. Got cut. He signed anywhere?
He'll sign somewhere. Probably with a competitor.
Is he burnt toast, as EJ said?
No, I don't think he's toast. I think he's limited in his role.
Mm-hmm.
Still a magician at getting open in the red zone. Just, I swear he disappears and then just reappear open.
Mm-hmm.
Very good chain mover. So he'll have a role on a team, but I do not believe he will have a big role on a team. I could see him going somewhere like the Bills.
EJ, I understand that you called Woods toast. I'm just using your reference.
He liked the word toast. He wanted to use it. He's never heard it before. I could see Thielen going to Bills and taking over like that Cole Beasley role. They tried doing it with Isaiah McKenzie and
him and Rodgers are friends, maybe.
Khalil Shakir or whatever. So I could see Thielen go to the Bills. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a fit there. Maybe if they don't, want to spend the money on Odell, I think Thielen will take a 1-year deal, roughly around $8 million, $8 to $10 million for the year to go play for a competitor.
I think Thielen is a good replacement for Corey Davis should the Jets cut him and Rodgers bring him in. He's friends there, but how about let's stick in the AFC East and potentially think of someone like the Dolphins who could use a nice third wide receiver over there, a big red zone target.
It's possible. I think a lot of people are worried about the whole Tua situation with the Dolphins.
I think so too, but they really didn't utilize the tight end position, and Thielen's kind of like a tight end.
People, how am I trying to say this? People who are chasing rings probably are not going to go to the Dolphins because they're worried about Tua, so they're worried about the potential of them actually, going into the playoffs and doing a deep push because they don't know if Tua is going to make it through the whole season. So I think they're worried. So I don't think a lot of them will go there.
Okay. Can I go on my 2-minute Aaron Rodgers rant? We can get out of here.
Hold on. EJ says, I still want Rodgers to shock the media and announce a retirement. He still hasn't shed any light on his move. And I will say that's exactly what I want, EJ, just because Joe will crumble into a pile of dust when he realizes that Carson Wentz and Zach Wilson will be his quarterbacks this year.
Let's go, Gardner Minshew.
I will love every minute of it just because he disparaged the Giants so much last year that I feel like he deserves it.
No, I deserve Aaron Rodgers. That's what I deserve. And not this personality he likes to bring with him. He needs to play and shut his mouth.
I agree with that sentiment, though. Yes.
And he could start by signing a damn contract restructure and being traded to the Jets. Announce it, move on with our lives, and my anxiety. We have been in 5-day Twitter ruts, okay? We understand you don't like the media. You were hearing about how you couldn't handle the New York media, and you've absolutely toasted the national media. Now, they have no idea what you're doing. You are a genius, dude. We fucking get it. Make your decision. Let's move on. Get your relations. Oh, look, he's a Jet. Yes, you win here, you're going to be a god. Okay, so just freaking make the decision so I can either crumble, like Ron said, or just absolutely talk shit next year. That's all we need.
We talked about this off air. Like, his whole thing was with, trying to trick the media. Like, oh, no one knows what I'm doing. If he goes and signs with the Jets, totally ruins all of that. Like,
EJ is a Packers fan, so here's a little bit of insight into it. He says, Rodgers following Favre's legacy is not him. Doesn't sound like his new Zen philosophy. So here's the thing, though, EJ. He's so self-obsessed. He may want to follow the Favre path and actually do better. Like, I could see him wanting to stomp on Favre's legacy. Like, that's just how egotistical he is. So he can be like, yes, I can do what he does, but I can do it better. Not very zen of him. He's secretly not zen.
He's secretly so maniacal.
He is. He whines that he doesn't want the attention, but then craves the attention.
There was just a South Park episode about that. Not with Aaron Rodgers, but
we want privacy.
That's all I can think about is Aaron Rodgers running around with a big sign.
I want privacy. That's the next episode. It's going to be running around with the Prince and Princess of England.
JJ, you need to get on that. You need to make us a GIF of South Park Rodgers running around with a sign.
Saying, I want privacy.
I want privacy.
Oh, my God. Oh, I think it's time to end the show.
Okay, yep. All right.
Guys, if you want to watch Garbage Time Fantasy Football and this shit that we put out, make sure to like and subscribe to the show here on YouTube. Free Agency was a little bit slow for offense, but it was still fun. You can also listen to us in audio formats on Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, Amazon, Iheartradio, and anywhere else we have podcasts. Visit us at www.garbagetimeff.com. Leave us voice and hate mails, although I did buy a different domain with the full name Garbage Time Fantasy Football, which will probably be changing very soon. But I also have to change all of our other stuff on this, so it's going to be a little while. I'll get around to it. But yes, listen to us in all these formats. Join the Heckling Fandom like JJ and EJ. I'll actually read his comment instead of just putting it up there. EJ says, I get that. I can only hope he announces retirement. Stop putting that bad voodoo out there. I need him, okay? As much as I hate it, he's like a cancer I need. I'm just glad we were rolling with love and get him with the reins. Rodgers was 5-11 his first year.
I like how he throws that out there to temper expectations.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm not on cloud nine right now. I'm getting buried in my emotions.
He's on cloud like -3 at the moment. All right. Make sure you go and leave us some voicemails and hate mails so we can actually do some stuff because it'd be fun.
On that note, Heckling Fandom, have a great night. Ron can't even hit the ending.